next speaker up is Julie Hamilton, who actually has traveled 100 countries, has seen a lot of hotels, enjoys to try different hotel concepts, and will present us how Coca-Cola is actually engaging with disruption, changing the industry they're in. Julie, please.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me here. As someone who travels a lot, I appreciate what you all do. I love a great hotel. One of the things they asked about, and he mentioned that I've been in 100 countries. This was not number 100. This was about 90. And I've been in countless many more hotels. So on behalf of one of your consumers, thank you for doing what you do to make sure we can do what we do and get a nice night's rest and an enjoyable experience. So I'm very excited to be here today on this day of disruption and innovation. So disruption and innovation. Disruption, it's one of those words that we say a lot. We hear it a lot. In fact, I think it's probably one of the more overused words in our industries. So I thought about it in preparing for today and said, you know, we think we know what disruption is. But what is the real definition of disruption? So I looked it up, and it was defined as, it's a disturbance, a problem which interrupts an activity, a habit, an event, or a well-known process. Its synonyms are interference, unsettling, upsetting, and confusion. So that's a heavy word for disruption. I like to think, however, in much more positive terms, that disruption instead is about innovation, it's about opportunity, it's about excitement and meeting a challenge. So with that in mind, let's think about the external world. Disruptions can come from many, many places. They can come from technology, which we're seeing a lot. They can come from your competitor. They can come from organizations like our previous speaker, who's helping people find the nascent consumer demand so that their brands can create a niche and an edge that meets with consumer excitement. So it's all around us. Now, at Coca-Cola, because we're a marketing company, of course, we decided to make a video to try to define a little bit around what's happening with disruption. course, being a marketing company, we had to put together a video around it. But as you can see, that video needs to also be disrupted because I'm sure all those numbers are already outdated, and many of you probably recognize that. So with a backdrop of all the disruption that's happening around us, I'd like to tell you a story of our journey. It's a story of a company that started 133 years ago in a single pharmacy in Atlanta, Georgia. Now, this company went on to expand to over 200 countries, had enormous success, all built on one brand. And for most of those 133 years, at least 100 of them, we primarily sold just one brand. That brand, you had choice. You had 3 choices. You could buy it in a bottle, you could buy it in a can, or you could have it over ice coming from a fountain dispenser. Our model stayed this way for most of our 133 years of history. We were comfortable with it. Our system was built for it. We knew how to do it. Our consumers knew who we were. Our customers knew us like this. But when you get successful and you get comfortable, that's the time you're most ripe for disruption. So we had a choice to make. We could continue along the path that we had knew so well, or we could be disrupted. We could wait for someone to disrupt us, or we could disrupt ourselves. We chose the tougher path, the riskier path, the one that made us most uncomfortable, to disrupt ourselves. So it may not seem like a big thing, but when for 130 years you've primarily sold one brand in 3 packages, to move to a vision of being a total beverage company, that's big. It doesn't sound big, but it's like turning the Titanic around. It's changing our supply chain. It's changing our materials, our ingredients, our innovation, our brand portfolios. It's changing the processes we use internally because we knew if we didn't disrupt ourselves, someone would disrupt us. And I'd like to share a quick video that just talks about this vision and how we see it. It's an early journey, but this is our journey towards being a total beverage company. So that sums up the vision of where we want to go. Now, it's easy to create a vision. The tough part is how do you get there? How do you inspire 700,000 Coca-Cola associates across our company and our bottlers and our 28 million customers that we work with on a weekly basis? Well, we invite everybody to be part of our disruption journey, but it takes strategy and it takes some learnings. So I'd like to share with you a little bit about some of the key things that we went through and hope that there are some learnings that you can take back to your individual businesses. First of all, we had to understand what disruptions were out there. It was about consumer choices, demanding more, how they wanted it, the taste they wanted, when they wanted it, the impact, obviously, of mobile, of voice, of e-commerce, of policy regulation, whether that's on ingredients or on materials, and then self-regulation, the rise of each of us taking ownership for our own health and activity. We had to make some really tough decisions. We had to look at ourselves and be very, very honest. We had to understand how those disruptors around us were going to impact us. Well, one of the things we recognized early on is that, our supply chain needed to evolve. When you had one brand in 3 packages, you could put it on a truck and get it to a traditional supermarket. It changes everything when you move to voice, to e-commerce, to frictionless shopping. We have to evolve our supply chain. The second tough choice we had to look at is say, we're really good at merchandising a supermarket aisle. You've all seen this wherever market you're from. We can have 100 of facings in a store. You can see Coca-Cola. You can see and find our brands. What happens when it moves to a buy box? How do we approach that? Maybe you get 10 facings. If you're lucky, it's a static image. To what happens when you go to 0, driven by voice? Your brand's not there. The consumer can't see it. You have to market in a whole new way. So understanding that, we laid out a plan to how to build a total beverage company. We felt we were in a great space. People may say, that's not bold enough, just saying you want to be a total beverage company and ready-to-drink beverages. Well, we've been playing primarily in one of these buckets. We saw there were huge opportunities still for us. We found that we were in a strong global position. We were going to lead from a position of strength, where we had known brands and strong positions in all category clusters, with this few exceptions. And one of the things that our system over the 133 years has done is we've built really pervasive distribution. We're in 200 countries and territories, 225 bottling partners, and we have a global footprint with a very local touch. Then we had to look at where we compete, and I think this was important for us. We looked at other areas. Do we want to diversify into food or household products? And we came away saying we're pretty comfortable with the non-alcoholic ready-to-drink market. It's highly diversified. We have strong pricing power. There's a lot of growth to be had there, and there's a large dollar opportunity of which we were only still capturing a small share. We then said, where does that growth opportunity come from? Well, it comes from both developed markets and developing and emerging markets. As you can see, non-commercial beverages in a developing and emerging world is 72%. That's white space for us. Huge opportunity. Then importantly, we put together a strategic platform for what we call sustained performance. It requires discipline. When you have a large organization, you have to simplify and clarify. So we focused on, let's grow our portfolio. If we're going to be a total beverage company, we have to sell total beverages. Let's align and engage the system on how we do it. So let's bring our stakeholders, our customers, our partners, our bottlers in, and then let's all win together. There's really 3 key disciplines that hopefully will be important and relevant to all of you. The first is it takes innovation. This is on formulas and ingredients, and we're doing a huge amount of work there. It's on personalization, so you can have the type of Coke in the package with the flavor that you want. And it's about offering multiple choices. One of the best examples of this is our Freestyle unit. It takes the old fountain dispenser, soda fountain dispenser, and takes it to a whole new level. So I'd like to just share a quick video on the innovation that's happening in this space.
Welcome
Welcome to the Global Innovation Center for the Freestyle Dispenser. Come on in. The essence of Coca-Cola Freestyle is really about choice. Choice for people when they're making their beverage decision. We really tried to build into this innovation the ability to choose from 200 beverages. Inside of that, there are 117 that are low, no calorie. And we have 130 some that have no caffeine. So it really gives the consumer control. Today, we have 50,000 dispensers in the market. We do about 14 million servings a day, and this has become a billion-dollar business for Coke. The 9100 Freestyle will be introduced in the latter half of this year, and it really takes into consideration much of the learnings we've had over the past couple of years. We've built things into this dispenser that are not only current for today, but really set us up for the future. Whether that's Bluetooth or an optical sensor, we've really tried to think about what's next. We've worked hard to make sure that every dispenser we put out in the marketplace is contemporary and state-of-the-art. We have lots of people thinking about how we continually evolve the platform. Whether that's through software upgrades or things that we do on the screen, we're always trying to make sure that it's relevant to people today. Choice and variety and customization, they're not just fads. So we're really going to make sure that with the Freestyle platform, we stay as current as possible and we offer the choices that people want.
Now, hopefully many of you have had an opportunity to try a Coca-Cola beverage from the Freestyle machine. If not, we look forward to giving you that opportunity somewhere in the near future. My favorite is Coke Light with raspberry with a splash of vanilla. So you can make up your own as crazy as you want it to meet your unique taste. The second discipline that we're using around expanding our total beverage portfolio is what we call simply lift, shift, and scale. We have numerous great products that are developed locally but have the ability to travel globally. Now, you might think this seems very simple. Of course you would do that. But we, of course, have a system where we like to have it invented in our area. We like to do it all the way through. We're marketers. So this is a challenge. It's a discipline that we're trying to instill in our organization. Examples of this are taking our Fuse Tea brand. It worked in certain test markets and then quickly lift, shift, and scale across 37 European markets last year. The Otis brand, which is a meal replacement soy-based that we purchased and acquired in Latin America. This has expanded into 19 European markets. And then Smart Water, which has been in the US and the UK for several years. You would have thought it would have traveled quicker. It's been a very big success in those markets. But with this disciplined approach to lift, shift, and scale, last year we were able to expand it into 23 countries with another 20 planned for this year. So disciplined approach. The third is, obviously, you have to identify where you have white spaces. And sometimes the best way to address the white space is a consumer-centric M&A. So you'll see us continue to do bolt-on acquisitions that help us accelerate the portfolio, close the gaps, and will help propel us towards our vision of being a total beverage company. Most recently, many of you saw that we acquired the Costa Coffee brand. We're looking forward to really integrating that into our system and to the many, many opportunities it will bring for all of us, because I know many of you are probably interested in that as well. But we feel it's a great bolt-on acquisition, touching a consumer need, addressing an opportunity, and really giving us global scale quickly with lots of white spaces, particularly in ready-to-drink. So that's our journey. It's far from over. We're in the early stages. Of that 133-year continuum, this is a very, very small piece of it. But like the exponential times we're living in, we are moving rapidly, exponentially forward to that vision. But it's important to know that we can't do any of this if we're not sustainable, if we're not doing the right things for our community, for our markets, for our consumers, for our world. And we are committed publicly to a world without waste. This addresses issues like plastic. It addresses water uses, things that are core to our business. And we are very, very committed to doing business the right way. I'll share a quick video with you on our World Without Waste efforts.
When you woke up this morning, you may have spent about an hour getting ready. In that hour, about 1,000 metric tons of plastic waste entered our oceans.
Well, it's a big issue, plastics. All the waste is going to the watersheds, eventually come to the ocean. This is a big concern for us. It's impacting life in the oceans.
That's why we are working here together in this part of the world to protect those ecosystems that we depend upon.
The Mesoamerican reef in Central America is the largest transboundary reef system in the world.
And it's a biodiversity hotspot, which hosts a number of marine sea life, such as endangered marine turtles and over 500 species of fish.
The Coca-Cola Company is committed to solving this problem through our World Without Waste initiative.
And that can allow us in Central America to work with the different communities on how to recycle and how to dispose the waste the way it's supposed to be.
Working with the local bottle companies to change the vision, the importance of the water for the communities, to have access to drink, potable, safe water.
We aim to collect a bottle or a can for every one we put in the marketplace to reduce the impact that our packaging has on the environment. We invite you to join us on this journey.
I'd like to congratulate the conference organizers and this entire event for being plastic-free and taking that initiative. It is one that we applaud and support. And I'd like to thank all of you and invite you as customers, as consumers, as stakeholders to please join us on our journey, join us on our quest to be a total beverage company, and we look forward to being on the journey with you. Thank you.